My name is Mark Adams, and I'm a Presbyterian mission co-worker serving with Frontera de Cristo in Douglas, Arizona, Agua Prieta, Sonora. We're a ministry that tries to bring together folks from both sides of the border to witness to God's good news. Sometimes there's bad news, and one hot August day I was walking out in the desert east of Douglas with a group of folks from my home congregation of Clover, South Carolina. We were picking up trash along a migrant trail. As we were picking up trash, we were thinking about how hot it was and thinking about the folks who left the trash behind, where they might be. We were very glad to get back in the van and drink some cool water. Later that day, we discovered that there was another group of folks near us, within a mile of us. And one of those persons was Rosalia Bazan Miranda, and she was out there with her own children. And about the time we got back in our van, drinking cool water and having the air conditioner on, she gave her last water, hot water, to her children and then died in their arms. We were very upset to realize that while Rosalia and her children were so close and as equally loved by God as we were, she didn't have the same luxuries that we did. Later in that week, a group of religious leaders got together and met with our Border Patrol chief to talk about how we could end deaths in the desert. And as we were talking, a Catholic priest, a Pentecostal, and a Presbyterian pastor with the head of the largest Border Patrol station in the world at the time, we asked him, Mr. Adams, do you believe that we are asking you to uphold a moral policy? And he looked at us and he said, well, you have God's law and you have man's law, and I'm sworn to uphold man's law. Sometimes they come into conflict with one another. For you, there is no higher authority than God. But for me, there's no higher authority than the U.S. Constitution. There's God's law and there's man's law. My sisters and brothers, we're sworn to uphold God's law. And the law that we are upholding now on our border and our policy on the border is leading to more and more death of people like Rosalia Bazan Miranda, who were with her children, were probably going to be reunited with her husband, their father, and now who is lost. We can't continue upholding a policy of death. We must say it is morally reprehensible to continue pouring money into building up walls and pushing people further and further out into deserts who are trying to provide for their families. It's my New Year's resolution to contact Lamar Smith, the incoming chair of the Judiciary Committee, who has promised to enforce and put more walls and more agents and push people further and further out in the deserts, to contact him every week to uphold God's law and to ask him to turn from man's law and to help man's law become more aligned with God's law. I invite you to call your congresspersons and to contact Mr. Smith and say, it's not okay. It's not okay that we're causing more and more people to die in our deserts.